Dr. Bones, Dr. Bones, Dr. Bones.
Good afternoon, this is Dr. Bones Live, and today my guest is Sam from Run Coyote. Welcome to the show, Sam.
Thanks for having me.
So, first and foremost, Sam, you guys have a unique style of music. I mean, in your biography, you said that like a hint of the 60s with a bit of a kind of a Western twang to it, and it's such a good mix. And to be honest, when I first saw you guys back in the summer, I wasn't sure like what the music was like because you guys were literally brand new to me. Like hadn't listened on SoundCloud, Bandcamp, nothing because I didn't really know about you guys till the night of the show when a couple of people told me, and it was really really was one of those times where you're listening and it makes you smile, right? Just because I hadn't heard something like this in a long time, at least from an indie live band. So my question to you, my first question would be is to have that kind of a unique and kind of altered sound. There must be a lot of influences coming from all sides, from every band member to contribute that sort of deal to it.
Yeah, I think so. We take influences from all the band members and kind of a mix of different things. For this band, though, I think there's a lot of influence of early rock and roll. So, late 50s, early 60s rock and roll. Combined with a lot of spaghetti western sounds. We kind of have, that is a foundation, I guess.
Right.
We're all fans of early 60s music, whether it's the Beatles or kind of a Motown thing or, even late Elvis, or I guess early Elvis in the late 50s is kind of like a rock and roll influence. But
right.
We also kind of love spaghetti western films and those soundtracks. So we're kind of getting kind of the leads or a lot of the melodies from there.
Now, that being said, when you guys started jamming together, did you guys have an idea of what kind of style you wanted to play or influences that you were going to go with, or did it kind of slowly piece together?
I think it kind of pieced together with the time. When we first started, the songs were a little bit more varied. Definitely on our album Youth Haunts, some of the songs are a little bit more varied in style. But the more that we've played together, the more we've kind of honed that sound, and that's kind of happened just naturally. I think when the song clicks and we all like it,
right?
We're kind of like, that one sounds good. I like that one, and you kind of just naturally lean towards that way when you're working on new material. So it's kind of become more and more of that, like I was saying, kind of a rock and roll spaghetti western thing. Sometimes it's like a indie rock surf thing. I find that surf music has the same kind of guitar twang that spaghetti western can have.
Right.
So I think it can kind of go either way. When they're a little bit more poppy, it's a little bit more surf maybe. So I think it kind of was a natural progression to kind of hone it into that sound. But that happened over time.
Now, have you guys always known each other, or just kind of get together as musicians? Kind of just maybe saw one of the members play in another band, or maybe a friend of friends saying, "Man, you got to hear this way the guy jams on his drums." Or
well, in the band we have my brother Jake plays in the band, so obviously I've known him my whole life.
Right.
His whole life, actually. I'm older than him. So that was kind of a natural thing. I was playing music, and originally kind of started as a solo project just under my own name, and I was like, oh, it'd be nice to have a guitar player, and my brother was just kind of a natural fit, obviously.
Right.
Amanda, I met at university in London. She plays bass, so that was kind of just looking for a bass player, met her, and it ended up fitting. She has a background with a lot of singing with choral music.
Okay.
And lots of pop music. And then with Jeremy, we moved to Kitchener, and we were kind of looking for a new drummer, and we happened to play a show with his other band called Chambers.
Okay.
And so he's from Kitchener, and we really liked his drumming. And I kind of got in touch with him and found out that he liked a lot of the same bands that I liked and that we liked in Run Coyote. So we asked him if he wanted to join the band. So I think the core of the band kind of happened naturally. And then Jeremy, we met him, but now it just feels like a big full family band, which is really nice. I have a lot of fun playing with everybody in the band.
Now, are you all in the same area? Meaning, are you all like in the GTA area, or like a few there? Maybe one's in Kitchener.
We've Jeremy, Amanda, and I have moved to Toronto, and Jake still lives in London. That's where we're from. So we'll rehearse with him if he takes the Greyhound down, or we'll rehearse kind of separately, and then we'll bring everything together. So it's kind of a challenge living apart, but we make it work. And being from London and having all my family still in London, we travel to London a lot.
Well, it makes it easier to come back. You get a place to stay. You don't have to worry about that sort of thing, right?
Yeah, I could stay at my mom's. So
yeah, exactly. Get a home cooked meal. You're all good to go.
Yeah, exactly.
Right on. No, I'm just curious, just because, other bands have kind of worked this way too. I mean, at least London to Toronto is not a long distance. Yeah. But that was gonna be my next question. When I asked if you guys were kind of living in the same area of like, how the jams go. How are you able to manage it and still make it work? And you just pretty much give me all that.
Yeah, it's definitely a challenge, and it's not the most ideal situation, but I think a lot of bands, like you say, can make it work. And I mean, with Jake being the lead guitar player, it does make it a little bit easier because we can work on the rhythm section and build the song with bass drums and my guitar, and then you kind of have an idea of how the song's going to work. And then with Jake coming in, he's laying a melody line or a lead line over top of that, and he can do that if we're sending him some demos or if he's just coming in. So I think because he's the lead guitar player, it does make it a little bit easier. If he was the bass player or even the drummer, I think it would be a lot harder. But in this case, we make it work. Yeah,
I mean, I think at that point you'd probably be sending tracks back and forth, like email, Dropbox, and trying to mix them that way, which can and has proven to be very difficult.
Absolutely.
No matter how good you are at it, it's just the time and effort you got to put into it to make it work, right?
Yep.
So that being said, we're gonna get to a song off Youth Haunts, and this is pretty much fitting because the song's called Only Human. Dig this.
Came crawling out of bed this morning. I'll meet you there at the bottom of it all. We're only human, honey. I can't complain. And it's the one thing that keeps me from going insane. We're only human, honey. That's no surprise. And I can see it in your deep blue eyes. We're only human, honey. I can't complain. And it's the one thing that keeps me from going insane. We're only human, honey. That's no surprise. And I can see it in your deep blue eyes.
Right on. That was Run Coyote with Only Human. Now, as I was saying to you off air, Sam, I almost expected a doo-wop in there somewhere, because then that's what it reminded me of. But it's still cool and chill because it has that 50s 60s feel to it, and I love that kind of that twang with a delay. And that always is, it's, for me, that's it's almost a signature staple of that era for music.
Yeah, absolutely. And with the piano coming in at the chorus, it definitely gives it that doo-wop sound.
So, but definitely one of my favorite tunes on the album for sure, and specifically for those reasons. So, I know it's got a good flow to it, and it's got some different sounds. Now, my next question to you is when you guys were putting this or piecing this album together, did you have like a specific idea in mind? Meaning, like, was there a theme you were going to try to follow, or just kind of make sure that the songs run smoothly in and out of each other?
I think it was just trying to see what the best way the songs fit together. In some cases, it has to do with the chords in the song or the keys of the song. In some ways, it just kind of, I think, the way they feel going together. The songs were kind of written not with a general theme in mind, but once everything was done, we kind of looked at it, and there's a lot of kind of, with the play on the title Youth Haunts, there's a lot to do with, being young and there's places you are when you're young, but also elements of your youth that are haunting you.
Right.
So it's kind of like, I think that's one theme of the album, but didn't necessarily go into how we were going to sync up the track listing. I think it just kind of, we thought, what's the best way that this is going to sound together? I know at the end of the album, it ends with Never Wanted To, which is the piano ballad, and then Wreck of a Man, which is kind of the big pop rock closer. There was definitely a discussion whether we should kind of end with the ballad or end with the, excitement, but we ended up going with the loud one for the end.
Right on. Now, were there any songs specific that kind of gave you a hard time, like meaning like final mixing, like something you just potentially weren't happy with, and it just took a lot to kind of rework it to get the way you wanted?
Yeah, I'm a bit of a perfectionist, so it kind of always takes a little bit of extra work. It definitely emails going back and forth between our friend and engineer Simon LaRochette, who recorded and mixed the album. I'm trying to think now. I think at first there was some trouble with the song Neighbors. We were trying to figure out how to make that work, and it ended up being just adding some flange to the bass, kind of really made it work. It was something simple as that.